大家好，我是和平老师. Hello everyone, my name is Sir Kenneth Porio. Welcome to Basic Foreign Language in Mandarin. Okay, so welcome to our students from the Georgie Ilagan International Schools. So we are in our first week of our Basic Foreign Language class, and this time we'll be introducing to you to Mandarin Chinese language. Okay, so pay attention, pay close attention to our presentation as we get to teach you on what is Mandarin Chinese and how what is the history of this language and where is it spoken, and all of those generic information that you need to know about this language. Okay, so for our students who are watching us live, 大家午安. Okay, 大家午安, welcome and good afternoon, everyone. For those who are watching us live, again, don't forget, please type in your name if you are watching us through our YouTube channel. And if you haven't watched us live, but you're still here, you're watching us, please click and put a comment in the comment section below so we can recognize you. Okay, so here are the objectives we want to achieve for this particular lesson and a session for this particular lesson. You should be aware of the basic expressions in Mandarin. Okay, next is to demonstrate basic Mandarin greetings in class and value the importance of cues and protocol of greeting Mandarin speaking peoples. Okay, so again, please be aware that you need to understand these basic phrases and basic history of Mandarin Chinese. All right, okay, so again, this is TPC3, HPC3, or CPC4A. I don't It depends on what appears on your transcript. Again, this is basic foreign language in Mandarin. So our lesson for this time is all about the introduction to Mandarin Chinese. So uh, in this session today, we will show you a video that I personally produced, and this contains also the video, the audio presentation that I have shared to you on our MS Teams channel. So this is lesson number 1 about Introduction to the Chinese Language from the USP score of China. Okay, so please pay attention to this video that I'll be showing to you in a few moments. Okay, so stick around. Okay, so while we are loading the video again, for those who are watching us live on YouTube, uh, please comment, no? Please comment para makita natin yung mga nag nag-pay attention sa ating video. Okay, so I will be playing now our video about uh, introduction to the Chinese language. Pay attention. See you in a while.
大家好，欢迎来到基础外语课华语版。我叫阿玛，你们的虚拟的华语教师。Hello everyone, welcome to Basic Foreign Language Mandarin. My name is Amma, your virtual instructor. 阿玛是闽南话的奶奶称谓的字。虽然我成老了，我还就会喜欢教导你们基础的华语课程。Amma is the Hokkien word for grandmother. Even if I am getting old, I still would like to teach you basic Mandarin Chinese lessons. 在整个外语课中，我们想教您使用华语发音、语法和绘画。Through this foreign language class, we teach you on using pronunciation, grammar, and conversation in Mandarin. 希望您能花时间和精力学习很多关于华语的课程。所以，我就很高兴认识你们。I hope you give me your time and attention to learn many lessons about Chinese language. Therefore, I am very pleased to meet you all. 首先，让我们向您介绍中文。But first, let us introduce you to the Chinese language. 在考虑为什么要学习华语时，最大的原因是您将始终有机会使用自己的语言技能。想知道为什么吗？请继续观看此视频，以了解学习华语的所有原因。When thinking why you should learn Mandarin, the biggest reason is that you always have the opportunity to use your language skills. Want to know why? Stay with this video to learn all of the reasons why you should study the Chinese language. 让我们听听来自美国和平队的音频课程。请在普通话课程电子书中查找第一课。Let us listen to the audio lesson from US Peace Corps. Please look for Lesson 1 at the Mandarin Lessons ebook.
Lesson 1. Introduction to Chinese Language. Mandarin is the official language of the People's Republic of China. It is the dialect spoken in the capital, Beijing. It is taught in all schools and is used for television and broadcast. Almost the entire population understands Mandarin. The language taught in pre-service training, PST, is Mandarin. Chinese is a language with a large number of words with the same pronunciation but a different meaning. What distinguishes these homophones is their tonal quality, the rising or lowering of pitch on certain syllables. Mandarin has 4 tones: high, rising, rising, and falling, plus a 5th neutral tone. To illustrate, look at the word ma, which has 4 different meanings according to tone.
High, ma, mother. Rising, ma, him or nam. Falling, rising, ma, horse. Falling, ma, to scold or swear.
Writing system. Chinese is not a phonetic language, and the characters do not bear any resemblance to actual pronunciation. Chinese is often referred to as a language of pictographs. There are about 56,000 characters, but the vast majority of these are archaic. It is commonly felt that a well-educated, contemporary Chinese might know and use between 6,000 and 8,000 characters. To read a Chinese newspaper, you will need to know 2,000 to 3,000, but 1,200 to 1,500 would be enough to get the gist. Each Chinese character represents a spoken syllable, so many people declare that Chinese is a monosyllabic language. Actually, it's more a case of having a monosyllabic writing system. While the building block of the Chinese language is indeed the monosyllabic Chinese character, Chinese words are usually a combination of 2 or more characters. You could think of Chinese words as being compounds. Phonetic system, pinyin. In 1958, China adopted a system of writing their language using the Roman alphabet. It's known as pinyin. It is used in this course. Grammar. Chinese grammar is much simpler than that of European languages. There are no articles, such as a or the, no tenses, and no plurals. The basic point to bear in mind is that, like English, Chinese word order is subject, verb, object. In other words, a basic English sentence like I, the subject, love, verb, you, the object, is constructed in exactly the same way in Chinese.
And we're back. Welcome back to our students of the Georgie Ilagan International Schools. I hope you had enjoyed that video about introduction to the Chinese language. And I'm just giving you a quick overview of what is Chinese, what is Mandarin. No, sometimes you might get confused. What is Chinese? What is Mandarin? No, so I gotta share to you this presentation all about the Chinese language. Okay, so please pay close attention. The Chinese language. Okay, so when we say Chinese, it's the generic term for the languages under the Sino-Tibetan language family. So, in linguistic terms, they call the Sinitic languages or the Chinese languages. So, languages coming out of China. But in a general sense, in these languages are under the so-called Sino-Tibetan language family, originating in China and Tibet. Languages originating from China and Tibet. So, I'm gonna tell you, no, why there are Sinitic languages, no. Uh, in Chinese, the Chinese language, the generic term, which is Chinese languages, there are many dialects, quote unquote, have, because I put it in quotes because not all linguists would agree that these are variants or dialects or whatever of the Chinese language. No, some would say this is a dialect of Chinese. Some would say it's a separate language. If you count like this Mandarin, all of the Mandarin, Cantonese, Hokkien, all of that. But for the sake of this lesson, I'll just call them dialects. Okay. Okay. So if you don't agree, comment on the section below. Or if you want to share your thoughts about what I'm sharing to you now, comment on this comment section below. Okay. What are the different dialects of Mandarin or Chinese language? First is Mandarin or Putonghua. This is the official language of mainland China and Taiwan. Okay. Next is Cantonese or Yue, Guangdonghua. This is spoken in Hong Kong, Macau, Guangdong, and overseas Chinese communities, particularly in America, North America, US, and Canada. Many of them are from Cantonese speaking regions. So most of them speak Cantonese. Next is Fujianese or Min or Hokkien or Minanhua. So this particular dialect of Chinese is spoken in Hokkien in Fujian province in China, and also in most of the overseas Chinese communities in Southeast Asia, including the Philippines. So when you encounter someone, a Filipino Chinese here in the Philippines, most of the time they speak Hokkien or Fujianese or what they call Lanang Oi, their own language, Lanang Oi. When you go to a Chinatown, especially like if you're in Manila, you're in Binondo, or here in Davao, no, when you talk to a Chinese person, more or less they speak Hokkien. Okay, no, some form of Hokkien Chinese. No. Okay, next. Other dialects both of Chinese include Shanghainese or Wu. This is spoken in Shanghai. and neighboring areas. Hakka is also a language spoken by the native Hakka peoples, indigenous Hakka people in China and Taiwan. And there's so much more. I cannot list everything here. So just imagine how we have to learn Mandarin Chinese, and you have to distinguish it from these different dialects quote of Chinese, variants quote. I don't know how would you agree that is it either dialects or variants. I don't know with you, but then yeah, different varieties of Chinese. So since we are focusing on the official language spoken in the countries of China and Taiwan and other countries that have it as a official language, we're focusing on Mandarin. So another thought about these different dialects, while they have different ways of speaking, these different dialects quote of Chinese, their writing system is the same. Notice if you go to China, you see these characters. Then you go to Taiwan, they have these characters. We go to Guangdong or go to Shanghai or in Jiangsu province or in Sichuan. While they speak different dialects of Chinese, different varieties of Chinese, when they write something, when they write the characters, they use they use the same system, still the same system, still the same characters. They can somehow understand the characters that they see. Although these Chinese dialects use the same characters, they use different syntax and pronunciation. Okay, so I'm gonna show you an illustration here. Okay, for example, good morning in Mandarin Chinese in mainland China, you say 早上好,早上好. That is how you say good morning in mainland China. But when you go to Taiwan, they don't say 早上好. They say 早安,早安. Yan. 这是早安, 你好,早安. But in mainland China, they say 早上好,早上好. All right. So how about in other dialects? In Hokkien or Fujianese, they say 火炸鸡, 先生火炸鸡, uh, 朋友火炸鸡. Ang ganon ilahang pagsulti, diba? So that's how they say it. Ganyan yung sinasabi nila in Hokkien, hotzaki. How about in Cantonese or Canton? Zhao Xiang. Zhao Xiang. Ganon. As you can see, the characters here are pretty much the same. They pretty use the same character, their character systems, but they use it differently. No, ganun pa rin. No, it's kind of kind of different in each of the varieties of Chinese. No, so yeah, you need to understand that uh, Chinese people speak different varieties of Chinese. Okay, so yeah, let's move on. So let's start now with how do we define Mandarin? No, the the varieties spoken here in mainland China. Mandarin is spoken by the Han people of China. Okay, Mandarin is the dialect that is originating from Beijing, the capital of China, and the language Mandarin is the official language of mainland China. And through this, its writing system is well established. Okay. Okay. So how does Mandarin being taught? How is Mandarin being taught? No, Mandarin is taught in schools in China, and it's also used in television and broadcast. Almost in the entire Chinese population speak somehow understands Mandarin Chinese, not necessarily speak Mandarin Chinese. And in China alone, there are 900 million native speakers. Like it is their first language or lingua franca, right? So, ganon, no? How about in other countries? So Mandarin is also an official language in Taiwan or the Republic of China. I don't know. I don't know if you agree with how I call it the Taiwan. And also in Singapore, the official one of the four official languages of Singapore, alongside English, Malay, and Tamil. So it is also spoken in many overseas Chinese communities around the world. Here in the Philippines, Mandarin Chinese is taught in Chinese schools, although it's also taught alongside Hokkien dialect, which is the lingua franca of the Chinese Filipinos. When I was learning Chinese way back in elementary and high school, we started out with Hokkien Chinese. So we had all of our books, they were taught in Hokkien Chinese. So later on, it was later when I was in grade 4, grade 5, grade 6 that we were slowly transitioning into Mandarin Chinese. Okay, so those are um, some of the facts about Mandarin Chinese. Okay, how about the characteristics of Mandarin Chinese? So, Chinese is a language with a large number of words with the same pronunciation, but it's entirely a different meaning, called homophones. Okay, so I'll show you an illustration of homonyms in Chinese. So I'm gonna show you the characters, but all of these characters are pronounced the same syllable, which is "zi." Okay. For instance, I'm gonna show you. Put the laser pointer there. This one means chicken. This character means chicken, and it's pronounced "zi." This one is the Chinese character for muscle, and it's pronounced "zi." This character is the character for base or foundation, but it's pronounced also as "zi." This one means to trace, and it's also pronounced as "zi." This one, this character means machine, and it's pronounced "zi." And this one means hunger, and it's also pronounced "zi." "Zi, zi, 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 zi." All of them are pronounced as "zi." Homonyms. They are pronounced the same, but they are different words. So again, one syllable can mean different characters. So how do they cope up with the homonyms of these Chinese characters? No. So what distinguishes these homophones in Mandarin Chinese is their tonal quality. Mandarin has four tones. No, tones which are the raising and lowering of the pitch when you pronounce the syllables. So in Mandarin, there are four tones: the high or the flat tone, rising, falling rising tone, and the falling tone, plus a fifth neutral tone. Okay, so may apat na tones in Chinese, no? And you gotta understand, Chinese again is a tonal language, and all of the varieties or dialects of Chinese are tonal. So when you change the tone, you change the meaning, you change the word. Just to let you know. So I'm gonna show you an illustration of the four tones plus the fifth neutral tone of Chinese. Okay, this character is using or the syllable ma, okay, and it is in the first tone or the flat tone or the high tone. Ma, ma. This one is ma, which means mother. This character is pronounced ma. This means hemp. This character is pronounced ma, falling rising tone. Ma means horse. This one is pronounced ma. Ma means to scold. And this one illustrates the neutral tone, ma. This is a word used as an interjection or something you attach at the end of the sentence to indicate that it's a question, like ni hao ma. No, if it's there is ni hao, which is hello, ni hao ma means how are you. So again, Chinese is a tonal language. You change the characters, you change the tone of your syllable, it changes the character, it changes the meaning, it changes the word. Okay, so be careful when pronouncing syllables in Mandarin Chinese. All right. Okay, as you may see, you have seen those characters. Remember, Chinese is a phonetic, not a phonetic language. The characters do not resemble any semblance of pronunciation at all. Chinese is often referred as a pictographic or ideographic language. So as you may notice in the characters that we see, no, Chinese characters are ideographs, meaning each of the characters signifies a certain word and a certain meaning. One word, one meaning, or certain meanings. No, it can just mean one word. No, again, I'm now showing you these ideographs, these characters. This is the character for sun. This is the character for moon. This is the character for mountain, wood, water, fire, horse, bird, fish, dog, hand, and vehicle. And again, the characters do not really bear any resemblance of any pronunciation at all, unless someone taught you how to pronounce these characters. Okay? So, ganun lang, no? So, each syllable in Mandarin Chinese is a separate character. Each syllable in Chinese, in general, is a separate character. Okay, I'm gonna show you back that character. Again, what is this one? This is character for moon. Tama ba? So, how do you pronounce this character? So, this is pronounced as yue, 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 yue. This is the character for moon. Again, this is one word for one character. And again, this means moon, yue. All right. So how about this two? These two characters. We have the character for moon, and what is that? So I'm gonna show you the pronunciation. This is how you pronounce this. Yue liang, yue liang, yue liang. So this is a word of two characters, and this means moonlight. As you may notice again, there's no any character in Mandarin Chinese that has more than one syllable. It's just one syllable. No. So ganon ang Chinese. Each of the characters has only representing one syllable. Okay? Right. So good. Now, next slide here is the concept of traditional and simplified characters. I don't want to go into detail, but the first row of characters, these are traditional characters, and the other one is simplified characters. So what are traditional characters? Traditional characters are mainly used in Taiwan, Hong Kong, Macau, and most of the Chinese Filipino community. And to, to the context of the Philippines, most Chinese Filipinos use traditional characters, no, in their writing. Though the younger ones now more or less learn the simplified ones. What are simplified characters? These are simplified characters are mainly seen in mainland China and most overseas Chinese communities. So how did it came to be? Um, during the communist era of China, they wanted everyone in the country to learn Chinese and Mandarin Chinese in particular. But then the characters are just so hard to write because of the complexity, the number of strokes that you have to undergo when you're using a pen. So the government thought, oh, why not simplify the number of strokes of the characters in Mandarin Chinese for to increase literacy. So they come up with simplified characters. All right, so I'll leave you to that. Okay, another characteristic of Mandarin Chinese is that the language does not have any like sort of declination. They don't have regards to tense, person, number, gender, or case, and so much more. They don't have that. No, when you describe one one boy, like 一个孩子, yan lang, 一个孩子, one boy, 一个男孩子. Ganun lang. They don't really say you just explicitly say it's 男孩子 or 女孩子. No. Ganun yung ano nila or how do you say he is a teacher. 他是老师，他是老师. So that's how you pronounce that. He is a teacher. But when you say she is a teacher, you don't change the pronoun. Uh, although you change the character, but the pronunciation it's still the same. 她是老师 pa rin kapon. 她是老师. She is a teacher. 她是老师. 她 is that character or that syllable that means he or she. Diba? Ganun pa rin, no? So isolated language on Chinese. Next fact about Chinese is that Chinese use the pinyin system as a form of romanization, like changing the characters or transliterate the characters pronunciation into the Roman alphabet. They use the pinyin system, and that is what we'll be learning after this lesson. No, the pinyin system, the phonetics. Okay. Um, in comparison to other European languages, Chinese, the grammar of Chinese is much simpler. No, there are no articles, no tenses, no plurals. No. Uh, Remember in European languages, like say for example, Spanish, for example, like the teacher. No, if you notice the teacher is male, you say la maestro. No, uh, el maestro. Pero pag babae naman siya, if it's female, it's la maestra. Maestro, maestra. No? Ganon. Pero in Chinese, it's just 老师 lang yapon or 教师. No regards to no regards to gender. No, ganun lang. And we don't use articles in Chinese. No, ganun lang yapon. 老师 lang yapon or 教师. The basic point to bear in mind in Chinese is that Chinese follows the subject, verb, and object word order. No? So in other words, a basic English sentence like I love you, subject, verb, and object, I love you, is also constructed in the way in Chinese, like 我爱你. 我 is the subject, I is the verb, 你 is the object. So we will be introducing that to you in our next lesson. Okay, so if you have understood these lessons, no, for the sake of time, again, we just want you to you can review all of these as I upload the slides in your Microsoft Teams account. So hopefully we have learned something about the characteristics of Chinese. So I hope you have learned a lot from this video today. So our next synchronous session will be introducing you to phonetics, and I'll give you the first quiz of this session. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you also in our next asynchronous activity. So please read page 5 or lesson 2 of the Mandarin lessons module. It's already attached on your MS Teams account. So please read also that lesson about phonetics. And I'll be leaving you with a video on how to pronounce Chinese like a native speaker. This is from Learn Chinese Now. Okay, so thanks for taking your time. I hope you have enjoyed the rest of the day. Okay, so 谢谢大家，大家再见，再见. See you on our next video.